Good morning. So, we are going to do the Bhagavad Gita. This is a new chapter we started last time. This is chapter 10. And we had completed till verse 4 and 5. So, today we are going to do verse 6 onwards. So, we are doing the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10, verse 6. The seven great seers. The seven great seers, they are four elders and the 14 Manus, or progenitors of mankind, who were all devoted to me, were born of my will. From them all the creatures in the world have come into being. What happens at the beginning of time is, now I'm not going to go into the details of all that, but just for a brush up, at the beginning of time, the children which are born of Brahmaji, they are his four sons, if you remember, Sanak, Sanatana, and so on and so forth. Like that, there are seven seers also, sages. They are the rishis. We call them Sapta Rishi, seven. Seven number of rishis are born of the mind of Brahmaji. Now, this happens in every yuga. Every yuga it has happened. Now you will wonder how many yugas have gone so far. It is said that there are 14 yugas which have gone. And in these 14 yugas, these seven sages have come and been there. They are the Sapta Rishis. They are the progenitor. Basically, they are the knowledge base of everything. Some of them, you know them so well that I keep on repeating their names so often. I'm sure you have heard me say Vashishta Muni, you have heard me say Atri Muni, you have heard Vishwamitra. These are the names which you have heard so often. These are the Saptarishis. But it is not necessary that they will appear in these 14 manvantras that are there. No, not necessary. They keep on changing. Now, why do they change? Depends on the requirement of that yuga. Suppose in a yuga you require certain things, they will come about. Their birth will happen. But these are born from the mind. Remember this. And then there are the four other rishis which came about. They are the sons of Brahmaji. And they were all devoted to Sri Krishna. They were born of his will. Now when we talk of this, and there's all these creatures which have come into being are born of the will of Sri Krishna, doesn't actually mean that he was making them. Please remember this. You see, today, if you go to see, the British throne is under terrible pressure, isn't it? You will find that the Queen of England is under pressure because the granddaughter-in-law is creating so much of bad blood in the family. Now think about it. Do you think the queen is responsible for everything? Do you think she was the one who spearheaded the entire campaign against the granddaughter-in-law? I don't think so. But everything that happens in that royal household is directly attributed to the queen. I hope you get that. In the same way, if we have to take some riots happening or some kind of an accidents that happen, a major accident, major thing that happens. If there is a war, if there are war clouds over there, China or Pakistan is trying to do something, infiltration, all these things. Finally, who is the person responsible? End of the line. They say the buck stops with the Prime Minister. Isn't it true? He is not responsible directly, but we say the buck stops with him. In the same way, you will find that Krishna is saying, they are born of my will. That means if my will is not there, they will not come into existence. Got it? So, because of my will, everything happens. Now, it is also mentioned in all the scriptures, literally every scripture, whether it's the Hindu scripture over here, the Christians, the Islamic, or whichever scripture that you take, it is always mentioned that everything happens by the will of God. I'm sure you know this statement. Everything happens by the will of God. Now, when we take that into account, there is a pandemic happening. Last year, we experienced the pandemic, which is still going on. Suppose there is the problem of the icebergs and the green gases that are there. There's so much of carbon. All these things are happening. You will find that there is a climate change that is happening. All right. You will find that some industries are booming, like the share markets and all. They are literally booming. The gold market had reached the highest peak. Now you will say, oh, God is responsible. Isn't that what you will say? The buck stops with God. And this is the way we always attribute things to God. But do you think the divine is actually involved in the process? No. It happens only by the will of God. God is not standing over there shaking the leaf of the plant. That is your mistaken belief. That is the way in which you go and construe the whole sentence wrongly. And that is the reason why people start blaming God for all the problems in their world. The atheists directly accuse those believers saying that, see, your God brought this thing. The pandemic. Your God brought these plagues. It's very easy to blame. God is not responsible. End of the day, nature has its own way of adjusting out. You will find that an entire forest will burn down. The whole forest will burn down with the forest fires. It happens in Australia, it happens in the California, it happens in many places in the world. The whole of the forest will burn down. And finally, after everything is burnt to cinders, you will find that a few months later, the rainfall comes and new shoots grow up. It's the checks and the balances system which is there for the Mother Nature. Mother Nature also acts per the will of God. But God is actually not telling Mother Nature, this is what you got to do. No, He is not advising her anything. He is just made the law. It is under His will everything is happening. And He is actually not responsible for anything. Please remember this. Whatever is happening to you, let us say you are going through the worst situations in life. Your immediate thought is you will blame God or some other person in your life. Immediately the thought comes, oh, this person did this to me. That is why I am like this. That is why I didn't get it. That is why I lost it. We have this habit of blaming everybody else except ourselves. We don't want to blame this one person that is there and say that, oh, I am responsible. Nobody says I am responsible. It is always easy to blame God or somebody else for the problems. Got it? Why? It is your karma. And that is the reason why you are going through it. I asked somebody a question a few days ago. I said the whole world is saying that they have undergone terrible stress and strain and so many problems. Then I asked, do you know at least 100 people around you? So the person said, yes. Can you tell me who was actually affected by this pandemic? None. Why? Nobody lost their job. They're working from home. The amount of money they would have spent staying in a city and going to work, all those things, paying for the food and transportation and the rentals and stuff like that, got saved. And they are still earning the same salary sitting at home and working for 4 or 5 hours, and yet they are cribbing about it. You see, they say that they are on call throughout the day. Actually, the call will start at 10 o'clock in the morning. Nobody is an idiot to sit in front of the screen for 10, 12 or 15 hours. They will keep on going and coming. But yet the person said that, oh, I work so many hours. So calculate it. You were in front of the screen. Actually in front of the screen, were you, was your camera on? The answer is no. Were you on mute? The answer is yes. You were on mute, your camera was closed, and you are saying that you are working? So I said, you might have been total number of hours 3 or 4. Now if you were to go to work, you would have been in front of people for 10, 12 hours, and even in the evening while going out home, you would still be meeting somebody in the lobby and chatting them up. And then 2 hours drive coming and going, say 3 hours or 4 hours coming and going, driving, the stressful life that you are having. Afternoon you had to eat your lunch somewhere else. All the costs, you total the costs involved, total the amount of hours that you work, and now total the amount of hours you actually work with the costs involved in it, you will find that you had a very good life. And you're still earning the same salary. So what gives you the right to go and question it? And nobody lost their job. So you knew some farmers. The farmers were farming. People, those who were working. Certain number of people were affected by it. Who were affected by it? Some people who lost their jobs. But did God say that you are not supposed to take up another profession or do something else? If you lost your job, do something else. There are lots of people. Go and see the jump in the number of people who have joined these video channels. The daily channels that are there. Instagram's growth was phenomenal. YouTube's growth was phenomenal. All this social media has become phenomenally bigger. When the whole idea that there are checks and balances in the system, the universe has this system of checks and balances. It will come up with something so that it can lower certain things down. You will find that suddenly the temperature shoots up and the temperature drops suddenly. You have seen that happening in Texas, isn't it? A lot of people experienced it. There were no lights. There were no power for many hours over there. So, what is the outcome of all that? Suddenly, Austin, Texas, and all these places over there, they became so cold. It was freezing. The cars were literally, sliding on the road. Things became very cold. And because of which there was no power. There was power shutdowns. What is the outcome? Yes, they had to undergo a few days of problems. They had to undergo a few days of problems. But didn't that teach them something very good? Don't take anything for granted. The important point over here is never take anything for granted. Wasn't it their duty to ensure that there is a continuous supply of power? So now they will work towards continuous supply of power. Number two, they will also be ready for any kind of adverse effect of the weather. If the temperature drops or if the temperature shoots up, they better have clothes and stuff which they can be ready with. This gives you the idea. The universe works in a certain manner. It tells you that you got to keep your sanity over there. See, listen, check, come with an understanding. Why is this happening? And can I do something about it? So, this is what is we call as Saptarishis. Now you will wonder, what am I talking about? Saptarishis are called the children of the mind. Did you understand that sentence? They are born of the mind. They are the mind children of Brahma. Those are knowledge. All those Sapta Rishis are nothing but knowledge. Where do you think technology comes from? Where do you think these computers came from? Where do you think the mathematical formulations came from? Where do you think astronomy, astrology, all these kind of subjects that we talk of, where do you think they came from? You know, the internal medicine. Are we not responsible for that? Man came up with a solution for the pandemic, the coronavirus. It should have some solution. So he came up with a solution. That comes from the mind. Please remember this. These sages are nothing but knowledge created by God Almighty. Krishna says, I am the one who is responsible for this. Finally, the buck stops with me. They are born of my will. So this is nothing but knowledge. The knowledge which will help you overcome in your life a lot of things. Science and technology. Isn't it helping people to overcome? Did you see that the rocket which went up in space came down, landed properly, but after a few minutes it burst into flames? So, Elon Musk's company will definitely look into the problem and say, yes, we got to do something about it. In the same way, when the Apollo disaster happened, Apollo 13 disaster happened, what was the thing that came out of it? We got to find a solution for that problem. There is pandemic. We got to find solution for that problem. Mathematical problems are there, right? Financial issues have to be tackled. So financial issues, they got to be addressed properly. And these are nothing but the 7 different knowledge structures. They help us overcome our problems. So Krishna says, they come from me. They are born of me by my will. Then we are talking about the 4 sages. The 4 sages which came about, they are the basis of the creation. You know, they may be called as Brahmaji's sons. These are literally like the Vedas, the framework of this whole world. How things have to be. All these things are devoted to me. Now think what is saying. Everything, all the knowledge, all the power is coming from my will, and that is the devotion to me. It will only come about if you are my devotee. Then that knowledge is free for you. Do you know how much we have to pay to get the knowledge? There is a problem which some countries are facing today. There is a need for us to have the vaccine freely available for everybody, correct? So countries like India, South Africa and all said that please waive off, remove these restrictions on intellectual property and all these things that are there. We will make this vaccine in our country and it will be available freely for everybody. And it is not going to cost anything. In India, you will find that most of the people can take a free vaccination. In certain other countries, it may cost a few dollars. But the vaccination is free. If some companies and some countries hold up their intellectual property rights and say, we will not give them, the rest of the world will not get it. That is why India and South Africa and some other countries in this world told the United States and other countries, please let us use this intellectual property rights completely free. Make it free so that we can make it ourselves for the whole world. We want to distribute it. Now, that is what I'm talking about. Sri Krishna is the one who holds these IPRs for all these knowledges, because all these knowledge are devoted to him. It is with his will that you will get the knowledge. It is God's will that makes you understand everything. Today this world is facing so many issues. Say for example, you find a common man, he will not understand what is artificial intelligence. He doesn't have any knowledge about algorithms. He doesn't have any clue about what is happening in this technological world. Most of the people have heard of Bitcoin, but they don't know Bitcoin. People don't know what is blockchain. People don't know what is GAN. They don't know various other things. Now this is the issue. But Sri Krishna says, if you are devoted to me, this knowledge is my devotee. The knowledge, the Saptarishis are devoted to me. And if you are devoted to me, this knowledge will open up for you. It is so wonderful. This verse is like that. The knowledge about all the beautiful stuff in this world will open up for you. You want to know what is happening in oceanography? I will tell you. You be my devotee. Why? Because Varun Dev is devoted to me. Sri Krishna says, Varun Dev is devoted to me. You want to know about the height? You want to know about the air? Yes, all these gods are devoted to me. And because they are devoted to me, you being devoted to me, I will offer you all this knowledge. So we now move to the next verse. We are doing Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10, verse 7. He who knows in reality the supreme divine glory of and supernatural power of mine gets established in me through unfaltering devotion. Of this there is no doubt. I just explained to you this line. He who knows in reality this supreme divine glory, now I have revealed to you this glory. All the Saptarishis and the sons of Brahma, they are all devotees of Krishna. They are the knowledge and the infrastructure on which the whole universe is based on. And because of that, this is the supreme divine knowledge which you have also got today. They are devoted to me and they are supernatural powers. They are supernatural powers. Think about it. Today, people make money out of nothing. Have you noticed? They buy a Bitcoin, and few years later, one Bitcoin is more than $50,000. What have they actually done for it? Nothing. It is just knowledge. It's the knowledge which increases. Did you get the whole picture? There are people who may have certain technological knowledge, some little knowledge. That knowledge will give them something really fantastic. Now that is what he's saying. All these are supernatural powers of mine. They are related to me alone. Every knowledge that you have in your world is mine. Krishna is giving us this understanding. When you get established in me, that means when you become devoted to me, then it is my job to give you that knowledge. You see, it is like password, a key. You are my friend, I will give you the key. Do you know how this Bitcoin trading happens? Huh? Bitcoin is not physical in nature. It's not a physical coin. It's not a physical currency. It is digital. The only thing which is there, which is having its sanctity, is the password. The lengthy string of password or that code which is there, which you alone have. And the moment you input it, that is your money. That is your Bitcoin. Got the answer? In your app also. When you use all these, Bhim app, Google Pay, this thing, that thing, Phone Pay. How many apps do you have? A lot of apps in your phone, isn't it? So all these Paytm and all these app, what do? You just punch some numbers. It's your passcode. Maybe you do it by face, maybe you do it by numbers, maybe you do it by some secret formula. And that transfers the money from A to B. Doesn't it? When you want to buy something, it just transfers the money to the dealer, that particular shopkeeper. Doesn't it? It is the passcode. Right? It is the key which you have. That transfers by electronic transfer. Now I want you to think, what is Krishna talking over here? All this is knowledge, supreme knowledge. Any and every kind of knowledge that is there. Whether it is related to very microscopic, that means to the level of proton, neutron and all those kind of things. All your small creatures that are there, very tiny. That is microscopic world. To the macroscopic, huge galaxies, huge sky. All that knowledge is in Krishna's hand. He says it. He who knows in reality the supreme divine glory and the supernatural power of mine gets established in me through unfaltering devotion. If you know that this knowledge is with me, you know that I am the repository of everything. Finally, everything comes to me. Then you will be only knowing me. So, you will have unfaltering devotion to me. And please do not doubt it. Think what I am saying. I am telling you something very clearly. If I know the Prime Minister of India, can I not do a lot of changes that I want in my life? Suppose I want one paper from a registrar, a local registrar over here. Okay? Or a local, council office somewhere. Maybe the Gram Panchayat. I just need one small letter. Those people are not giving me the letter. Why? You know the reason why. I don't have to reveal it to you. But if I knew the super boss, will anybody have the guts to even say no to me? It doesn't happen. And this is how it works. If you know the super boss and if you are a friend of the super boss, then everything is facilitated for you, cleared out. Your road is made clean. That's how it happens. So when somebody is attempting to go from bottom to top, they find it difficult. But those who come from top to bottom, suppose you know the super boss and then you want something to be done, it is so easy, isn't it? That is the way how things are to be done, not the way you think. So here Krishna is telling, now that you know, I am the repository of all the knowledge, all these knowledge people, everything, all Saptarishis, all these Brahma Rishis and everybody. Sorry. Everybody reports to me by my will, by Krishna's will. If you know this is the secret, supreme secret I am telling you. If you know that everything is mine alone, don't you think you should be devoted to me? And that is the reason why you will be devoted to me. So simple is the answer. So, there is no doubt. So you will get established in devotion, in unfaltering devotion to me. Because I am the super boss. Period. That's it. Nothing beyond that. So we now move to verse 8. We are doing Srimad Bhagavad Gita chapter 10 verse 8. I am the source of all creation and everything in this world moves because of me. Knowing thus the wise full of devotion constantly worship me. Only the wise people worship Krishna. They know which side of the bread is buttered. So please remember this one thing. I am the source of all creation. I just instruct Brahmaji, go create. I just tell everybody do this. And they do it. But does anybody know that Krishna is the final authority? This knowledge is not a common knowledge to anybody. And he also appears like an ordinary gwala, a gopi, a person who is a shepherd. You understand? A cowherd. He appears like that. He appears very, very simple. He is never going to tell the world that I am the boss of this universe. He never tells anybody. But this verse is telling you something. He is explaining to his dear friend Arjuna. Please remember this. Krishna is explaining to his dear friend Arjuna. But Arjuna has short-term memory loss. Okay, he always loses his memory. He doesn't remember most of the time. This, please try to remember as much as you can. I am the source of all creation and everything in the world moves because of me. Even if you sneeze, that is happening because of me. A leaf moving in the wind is happening because of me. But please understand, I am not moving it. No. I am not making you sneeze. No. I'm not doing any of those things. Everything happens because of me. The buck stops at me. This is the truth you need to know. And if you know me this way, if you know that I am the final authority of everything, and if you know this way, then you should become my devotee. Don't you think so? Constantly worship me. And that is the reason why hardly anybody knows this. Go and find out in this world. Ask 10 friends of yours And this you can ask even your relatives. You can ask your mother, father, brother, sister, whoever it is there. You can ask your wife, your children. You can ask your husband, whoever that is your near and dear one. Ask them. Ask them, do you think Krishna is the final authority? You will find that 10 out of 10 people will say, no, Krishna is not the final authority. He was just one ordinary fellow. He is a god. Yes, yes, yes. Now we have that Krishna statue, very beautiful statue we have. We have pray to Krishna. Now, they will give all other gods names except Krishna. You have to be a devotee of Krishna to know Krishna. Do you get what I'm saying? If you are not a devotee of Krishna, then you won't have any clue of what I'm talking about. Did you get the point? And this is the truth you need to understand. Otherwise, how will you know? Krishna is incognito. He is the secretive person. He is never going to bother you about it. He is not going to tell, I am this and or I am that. He is never going to tell you that. But here he is explaining to Arjuna. And this knowledge doesn't remain with people. Doesn't remain with people at all. Because they get completely erased. The knowledge gets completely erased. Like they do like this in the camera and then the scene changes. You have seen all those videos, those small videos that are there, reels and all those. I'm sure you have seen them. No? You will find that the person places the hand on the camera and then the next shot you will find that something else is there. It's exactly like that. Magic happens, people forget. So remember this verse very carefully. Krishna is saying, I am the final one. I am the authority. Everything comes because of me. Everything reports to me. I am the source of all creation. And everything in the world moves because of me. If you know this, only the wise will remember this. They will be only devoted to me and they will constantly worship me. We'll move to the next verse. We are doing Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10, verse 9. With their minds fixed on me and their lives surrendered to me, conversing and enlightening one another about my glories, my devotees ever remain contented and take delight in me. With their minds fixed on me. You see, your mind is literally always buzzing around. But the devotee's mind, the devotees of Krishna, their mind is only on Krishna. Krishna appears like an ordinary person. He is not even going to tell anybody who he is. But the true devotee of Krishna will be only devoted to him. So if his mind is fixed on Krishna and the lives are surrendered to him, that means with 100% faith, completely surrendering to the will of Krishna. How many people can have this? Hardly any. We all love to fight. The whole world fights with each other. They don't accept anything. If you have surrendered to Krishna, remember it is Krishna who is getting the whole thing working in a particular manner. When I started this conversation, did I not tell you about the pandemic which is coming? Did I not tell you that the forests are burned down? I told you that. And in that I told you this is the balance, the checks and the balances of nature. So suppose today Krishna is putting you through a very difficult situation in life. Maybe he is put you through such a terrible time that you don't have any money, you don't have any friends, you don't have any relatives, you don't have anybody near you. You are going through your own hell. You are going through such a terrible time in your life. Maybe you are sick, maybe you are tired, maybe you are hungry, maybe you are completely got disgusted with the world. This situation, If you are a true devotee, only a true devotee understands that Krishna is doing that for you. Why? It is called the process of cleansing. He is putting you in that hot acid bath so that he can remove all the muck from you. And this you need to understand. The methods of Krishna are very, very strange. He uses this knowledge in such a manner. You may not even understand. You may blame him for all the problems, but never blame him. If you have surrendered to Krishna and if your mind is fixed on him, what is the next thing that you need to do? Conversing and enlightening one another about my glories. You have to become conversational. You have to talk about the glories of Krishna. You see, when people say Krishnam Vande Jagat Guru, what they fail to understand is when they talk of Krishnam Vande Jagat Guru, you have to praise Krishna. You will find that these same people, there are so many of them in this world who keep on talking like this. I am a Krishna Bhakt, I am a Bhakt of Krishna, I do this devotion to Krishna. They talk only. And instead of talking about him, they talk about their own glory. Well, it is not your glory that the world is supposed to know. You are just an ordinary mortal. And if you have been put in that situation, it is Krishna who has put you in that situation. It is not important to discuss about your personal life with anybody. I attended a satsang many years ago. It was done by some Krishna devotees. And there I found people are talking about their own personal issues. They were talking about how difficult this world is. And then they came to the point, finally, I was wondering in the whole satsang, where is Krishna? They are supposed to discuss the stories of Krishna. That is what he is saying. You have to be conversing and enlightening one another about my glories. And they are glorifying themselves. Oh, when I went to Jamnagar, this happened. Last time when I visited Navadvip, this happened. When I went to Delhi, this thing happened. What are you talking about? What they ate over there, whom they met, and how things went about? They were only discussing about that. And they were telling how difficult their life is. Sir, if you are a true devotee of Krishna, you will not come up with any stories of any other person. You will not discuss anything about any other person. Your job is to only talk about the glories of Krishna. Okay? What are the things that Krishna has done? My devotees ever remain contented and take delight in me. They are always contented. These devotees that I spoke of just now are discontented lot. They have trouble with everything. They are working for some organization. Some of them work for some companies, some of them for advertising agencies, some of them are DJs, RJs, this, that, so many things they were. And they were talking about discontentment in their life. My boyfriend, he's talking like this, he doesn't do this, he doesn't do that. My father is like this, he doesn't give me any money. This kind of nonsense that they talk. Have you noticed the Prince of England is talking so derogatorily about his own father? Think about it. And you think you are some great sheikhs when you talk about somebody who is doing something wrong to you? Who cares? Now, do you think that is going to gain any sympathy for you? On the contrary, people will look at you and say, you are such a stupid person. Where you should be giving a talk. Like I said to you, these people, they were sitting in a satsang of the same Bhagavad Gita and talking about their own problems. You are not supposed to speak like that. You have to be contented. It is because Krishna is putting you through that stage. Don't be discontented. Have contentment. Say, I am happy Krishna is putting me through this ringer. You understand? He's putting me through that whole problematic situation because I have to become somebody great. And what am I supposed to be doing? I have to talk only about the glories of Krishna, his stories, the things which will say, oh, Krishna is the greatest. That is all because everything comes from me. Isn't that what Krishna says? You know that everything comes from me. So you have to talk about me. You're not supposed to talk about yourself or somebody else. Don't even discuss that. My devotees remain ever contented and take delight in me. Now we go to the next verse. We are doing Srimad Bhagavad Gita chapter 10 verse 10. On those ever united through meditation with me and worshipping me with love, I confer that yoga of wisdom by which they come to me. If you are one with Krishna, if you are totally in oneness with Krishna's way of life, if you are totally for him, you are totally devoted to him, you are totally in absolute merger with him, you are in total meditation with him, you are completely immersed, then what happens? You are worshipping me. Think about what Kabir said or Mirabai said. Mirabai never said that Krishna is putting me through this problem. She never said that when I was coming over here to give a satsang, I was doing this. I cut my legs. Do you think Mirabai speaks like this? Do you think any of the great saints like Tulsidas or any other saint like that or Kabir or whoever, do you think they are going to talk about themselves? Oh, Krishna, he puts me in so much of trouble, you know. Do you think that is what they speak? They don't talk like that. They only say, look at Krishna and they say, Krishna Vande Jagat Guru. Okay? They will sing Madhurashtakam. They will talk about his lips, his eyes, his nose, his hands, his face, his flute, his hair. You name it. They only talk about the glories of Krishna. They talk about the different episodes of his life. They talk about the wondrous experience that a person can see when you see him, look at him. That is the way in which you talk about the glories of Krishna. And this is what he says. When you are worshipping me, when you are one with me, I confer the yoga of wisdom by which you come to me. It is only when you have completely surrendered, when you do not have any idea about your own self, about the trouble that you are going through, about the problems of your own life, even you don't even bother about what is happening to you, then you have completely merged in me. You are one with me. You are not going to talk about anything else except talk about my glories and the different stories that I have. You discuss only Krishna over there. And when you do that, it is my job. It is Krishna's job that he will confer the yoga of wisdom. Do you remember what I said to you in the verse 7? If you are devoted to me, all these Saptarishis and everybody is adheen to me. They all report to me. Did I not tell you they are born of my will? All these are my powers. They are my supreme glory. Have you forgotten? Don't forget what I said. If you are devoted to me just like that, I will confer the yoga of knowledge on you. All this knowledge that you want in this world will come to you. Just like that. The whole library of knowledge will open to you. The entire power structure will be at your beck and command. You will have every knowledge that you want. But you cannot talk about yourself. You cannot talk about your troubles. You cannot talk about the difficulties that you are going through. You cannot talk of anything except my glories and except my stories. That is all. And this is a truth you need to understand. Krishna is the Almighty, the highest potency, the highest God that you can ever think of. In chapter 8, we have done this. He says, I am that supreme. And if he is the supreme, every power is in him. Can you not understand that? And why are you running after all these petty things in the world? I am going to put you in the trouble to see whether you are totally devoted to me. There is a beautiful story where there is a crow which keeps on saying the name of God. He says Krishna, 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 or Ram, Ram, Ram. He keeps on saying this continuously. And then when the cat catches the crow's neck, he does ka ka. He forgets the name of the Lord. This is what you should not become. Constantly you may be taking the name of Krishna. But when you are in trouble, you are thinking of your troubles and the problems. You are saying kaka. You understand? Why are you saying kaka? In trouble only you are supposed to think of Krishna, not because Krishna should solve your problems. But please understand, these troubles are just to find out whether you are really worthy of it or no. I don't know how many of you are actually understanding my satsang today. That is why he says, there are very few people in this world who will know me. They wise only. They are called the wise. That is why he says, I will confer the wisdom, the yoga of wisdom on them. And then only you can come to me. The next verse, we will do verse number 11. We are doing Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10, verse 11. In order to bestow my compassion on them, I am dwelling in their heart, dispel the darkness born of ignorance by illuminating the lamp of knowledge. So what do I do? What does Krishna do? When you have completely surrendered to me, when you know that I am putting you in that trouble for you to rise in your life, and you are not complaining, but you are only singing my glories and talking only stuff about me, only the good stuff. Please remember this. When you are doing that, what I will do? With my compassion, I am a very, very compassionate one. I don't like to put anybody in trouble. I never put anybody in trouble, by the way. Why should I? As a God, Almighty God, do you think I will put anybody in trouble? Actually, it is not my job to put anybody in trouble. It is your own karma. Because average human beings are not my devotees. Did I not tell you, if you go and ask 10 people in this world, who is the final one? Authority? They will say, Krishna? No, Krishna is not the final. They don't know. These 10 people in this world, they will tell all kinds of God's names. They will say Shiva, they will say Vishnu, they will say Padmanabh Swami, they will say Balaji, they will say this Amma, that Amma, all kinds of goddesses, gods, they will keep on saying whatever. Finally, they will say Baba, they will say Ram Krishna Paramahansa, they will say Ramana Maharishi. They will take every other name except Krishna's name. They won't take Krishna's name. So these people are not my devotees. So how many people are wise? 1 in a million? And even that wise man has absolutely no understanding. He doesn't have that much understanding. He doesn't have a clarity who is the final winner. He doesn't have that clarity as well. So, what happens? I bestow my compassion on them. I'm very compassionate. I give them my compassion and I say, yes, I understand. You poor folks, you don't understand 99% of the time what I speak. I am talking over here in the Bhagavad Gita. You actually don't know. And I am compassionate. I am dwelling in your heart. Where do you think I am? I am not in some mind or in some other place of yours. Here, the mind, people say the mind is here. Mind is not there. It's the brain. A part of the mind is there. A part of the mind is there. Who stays over there? Shivji stays over there. The end, the final end. You can go up from there. Shivji stays over there. Down below, Brahmaji stays. Where do I stay? Krishna is very clear. He tells you openly, I dwell in your heart. Now, do you have any doubt when he says these words? I dwelling in their heart. I am always dwelling only in the heart. I don't dwell in any other place. No other place I dwell in. I only dwell in your heart. And dispel the darkness born of ignorance. I will remove this ignorance from you. Why? Because I am a compassionate one. I will just ensure that you are maybe not that great in your understanding. I am compassionate to the people who are my devotees, who sing my praises. They do not talk about themselves. They don't talk about the troubles. They don't talk about anything about their own personal life or the world is having problems. They are not talking about that. They only talk of my glories and my stories. That is it. If they talk of my glories and the stories, then what happens? I am very compassionate. They know I live in their heart. Okay. So what will I do? I will remove their ignorance from their body. The whole being of theirs, I will make that ignorance run away. And then I will light that lamp of knowledge in them. So what will I do? I will ignite that lamp of knowledge in them. That is what I do. That light of knowledge will get illumined in them. They will know everything that I want them to know. You can find out from many people, those who have become devotees of Krishna, what is the difference in the knowledge that they have today. Go and ask at least a couple of them. Ask them, they should be a true devotee, remember that. Ask them, how much change has come about in their life? And this answer you will get. Krishna is ever compassionate, and by dwelling in the heart of everybody, only few people know that. Like I explained to you, not everybody knows. 1 in a million may know. That person, he will dispel the darkness of ignorance and light the lamp of knowledge in them. So we have come to the verse 11, end of verse 11. We will start verse 12 in the evening today. So take care, have a great day, and I will see you all later. You can join for the Guru Charitra Satsang also now. Bye.